Hey, what's up, everybody?
What's going on?
This is Tony.
And I'm Jenny.
And we are Lido Loca, and this is the Lido Loca Podcast.
Yay. What episode is this?
This is episode 6, Jenny.
Wow.
Yes, episode 6.
Is it our last one in North Carolina?
It's the last one in North Carolina, and it is also the last one of 2019. It's the last one of the decade.
Wow.
Thank you so much for coming back and checking out the podcast, or thanks for coming to the podcast for the first time. I hope that you find that it tickles your ears. We are Jenny and Tony of Lido Loca, and we make this podcast, but we also make YouTube videos, and we make a video version of this podcast. So if you want to see what we look like, if you want to match a face to the voice and you don't know us, come over to YouTube to the Lido Loca Cruising YouTube channel, or come over to the podcast channel and you can see what we look like. But welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Yes, we are so glad you are here.
Happy to have you here. Now, we're going to talk about a few interesting things today. As Jenny mentioned, this is our last couple weeks in North Carolina, and we're making the move. This isn't the last podcast from North Carolina. I have to call you out and say that you're wrong. I mean,
What?
We're not moving for 2 more weeks, Jenny. We will be doing other podcasts here from this very location.
That is true. That is true. You're right.
Got me too excited. Now, we are going down to Florida in a few days to sign the lease on our place, which is very, very
How exciting.
But we've been working on packing, and so we thought we would make this a conversation about packing, not only packing to move, but packing for a cruise ship. So we're going to talk about that a little bit today. We are also going to talk about some of the new cruise ships that are going to be coming out in 2020, just to see if any of them tickle our fancy, as it were. We're going to talk about a couple cruise news stories, and then we've got a new feature today. We're going to ask Jenny a question she hasn't answered yet. It's Would You Rather? And so we'll have a would you rather question. It'd be interesting. We're both going to answer the question, to be fair. But Jane, let's start off with the main topic. What has it been like? How much have we packed already to move down to Florida?
Can you consider we have one box that is open and not taped up?
All right, let's get into it. We have been fighting fairly consistently about this packing. We have 2 different packing philosophies. And it extends not only to packing to move to Florida, but it also extends to cruise packing. I am very much a person who will just do it. Like, at some point, we know that we're going to move around the 13th. We know that we have to have all the boxes loaded. So probably a week before the 13th, I'm just going to start packing boxes. No conversation, no pre-planning. I just know that everything that we have here has to go. I tell you what, Jenny and I have been talking about packing for 2 weeks. And there's been no packing done. It's so much conversation.
No, but there has been some trash thrown out. I have 2 large bags of trash.
I'm excited. I just don't want to talk about the trash. I don't want to talk about what we just got to pack.
Well, I mean, we just have to do it, but I guess that's where we differ, right? Is
Yes.
that it makes me, it brings a lot of anxiety to my life, knowing everything that's ahead of us.
Right. And then
So then I
I'm
have
usually-
to talk about it.
I'm
with
usually
you.
pretty fine until you start talking to me about it. And then I get pretty anxious about it because there's just nothing we can do about it but do it.
I know, but like, I don't know. Why can't we just do 1 or 2 boxes a day?
You can do anything you want, Jenny. It doesn't take a committee to pack a box.
Yes, it does.
It does not. This is the thing that's bothering me. Just pack the box. I don't know, man.
All right. Well, maybe I'm just waiting for you to do it.
That seems probably right. Just waiting for me to do it.
Or maybe we could do it together.
No, it doesn't take 2 people to put something in a box, Jenny. All right. I don't know. I don't think we're going to get anywhere on this. I just know that I cannot wait to get all this moving done. I think that's the worst part of moving is the moving.
Right.
Right. I'm so excited to be moving down to Florida. And if you're new, just joining us for the first time, we've spent the last, how many years we've been here in Charlotte?
6.
6 years in Charlotte, 10 years in Nashville before that.
Right.
And so now we're getting ready to open up a new chapter in our lives. We're actually going to move to Florida, back to where Jenny used to live, near her mom. And so we're going to have this other chapter in our life where we're going to be around more family. In Nashville, we weren't around a ton of family. Here in Charlotte, definitely not around a ton of family. And so what's exciting about moving back to Florida is not only will we be near our family, but we'll also be around our extended cruising family. There's a lot of people that make their way through Florida to get on a cruise ship that we know virtually, that we've talked to on the phone, that we've hung out with, that way. And so I'm excited to move to Florida to actually be close to where people come to go cruising. So that's kind of exciting.
Yeah, absolutely.
What are you looking forward to most in Florida from a cruising perspective?
How close we're going to be to the cruise ports.
Yeah, so you got Jacksonville, you've got Port Canaveral, you've got Miami, you've got Fort Lauderdale.
You got Tampa.
You've got whatever that one goes out where the Bahamas Paradise goes out of, Palm Beach,
Yeah, it's something like that.
So that's like what, 5 cruise ports all within
5 major, yeah.
all within 3 or 4 hours. So I'm really excited about that. And one of the things we look to take advantage of when we get down in Florida is just being able to jump on a cruise ship. I guess since we did the podcast last week, we did actually book a cruise.
We did?
Yeah, on the NCL Breakaway, right?
Oh, no. Didn't we talk about that last week or no?
I don't think we talked about that last week. We just, did we? I don't think we did.
I don't remember.
I don't know. It's worth mentioning again, we were scheduled to go on the Carnival Panorama, and we've decided not to go on the Carnival Panorama. And we were able to get a free cruise by doing the My Vegas app.
Right.
Now, if you're not familiar with My Vegas, they have a series of apps that you put on your phone, like 4 phone apps and then a Facebook app. So 5 ways to gain coins. And if you gain enough coins, you can turn them in for a free cruise. This is the first time we've ever turned coins in for a free cruise. And maybe we did talk about it last week. I think we talked.
No, I don't think we did.
Did we talk about how many days it would have taken to? I don't know. We need to keep notes on this podcast thing. But anyways, we turned our coins in for a cruise. So we're going on a cruise. And I think one of the reasons that it was appealing is because we knew that we were going to be down in Florida.
Yeah, and we wanted to get on NCL, and if you haven't checked out My Vegas apps, you should.
Yeah, and I did do a video on how to use My Vegas to get coins and to look up rewards. I will leave that linked in the show notes, and then if you were watching this on YouTube, I'll leave that in the YouTube description.
Yeah, and if you've been hesitant in the past, it is a legit app. We never put any money into it, and we did get a free cruise, and I am putting quotations in free because you do have to pay some admin fees and, of course, the port charges and the fees, but no big deal.
Yeah, and overall,
I mean,
not
I don't
too
want to
bad.
say no big deal, but much. What would you say? 25% of what it would have cost?
It's a 7-day cruise, and I think it was around $2,300 if you
Right.
booked it directly through the cruise line. Mm-hmm. And so our free cruise, after we paid administration fees and some taxes, those kind of things, our free cruise is around $625 right now.
Right.
We haven't paid any gratuities yet, so we'll pay gratuities. We'll either prepay them or pay.
And that would be anyway.
Yeah, or
and we
pay them
also
once
got
get on
free
board.
specialty dining.
Yeah. So yeah, whatever, like you said, that's a fourth of what we would have paid if we would have just booked it straight out. And so that's very exciting. And so that's coming up soon. So we have to get packed. We have to get down there to Florida. And the reason we tell you a little bit about our packing to move is because it's not that much different than when we pack to go on a cruise. Now, we've been on a few cruises. We've been cruising for a few years now. And on our very first cruise, we were hyper vigilant. Many days out, a month out, Jenny's like, we got to pack for this cruise. And we packed like a month in advance for that first cruise, right?
Yeah.
We don't do that anymore.
No, we don't. Like, I remember we had Amazon at our door every day.
That was kind of fun. So we did cruise shop every day, and we bought a lot of stuff that we didn't use on our first cruise. And we bought a lot of stuff that we haven't really used on any of our cruises, but we must have watched a video or something that said you got to have these things because we filled up our house with stuff from Amazon.
We did. Well, and that's the beauty, right? Is that everybody does cruise differently.
Yes.
The videos are so helpful to give you kind of that outline of what you may need.
Yes.
And then once you cruise a couple of times, you actually realize what you're going to use and what you don't.
Yeah, I think, that's some advice that we've given that people push back on a little bit. Like, we used to say, like, don't overpack.
Right.
But the reality is you don't really know what you need until you go. And so I almost like to say overpack on your first cruise.
Absolutely.
And then don't overpack. Because now, the thing that we do now is I want to figure out the least amount of stuff possible that I can take.
Right.
And we've done it all. Like when we first, okay, so let's walk through it. When we first started, we overpacked.
Absolutely.
And we had some suitcases.
For a 4-day cruise.
Yeah, so we had some suitcases that just had, for a 4-day cruise.
Right.
We had some suitcases that just have 2 wheels. And so these were suitcases that had a handle that you had to drag along behind you. And we filled up a huge suitcase and with more clothes than we could possibly use in 4 days. And we carried carry-ons and we carried some other things. So the main thing that I've learned over our little cruising career is that get suitcases with 4 wheels on them.
Absolutely.
I know it sounds so simple.
They float in the air.
I think we did 2 or 3 cruises with those dragging the suitcases behind us.
And you said, no more.
Well, I didn't know. But then we needed a new suitcase because our suitcases were getting a little raggedy. We'd had them for a long time. And then the suitcases that we got had the 4 wheels.
Right.
And man, it was like heaven. It was so much easier. We could... I can't even explain it. Like where I would struggle to carry 1 or 2 bags, like carry the big bag and the carry-on. Now with one hand, I can carry with one hand.
And like the palm of your hand.
It's so funny. With one hand, I can carry the big suitcase, the carry-on suitcase, and my backpack all with one hand.
Yeah, and you do a great job at that too.
Yeah, and it's important too, especially if you're someone who likes to get off the cruise ship as early as possible by carrying off your own luggage. Now, there is a great story that I read later about staying on the cruise ship later. I haven't told you this yet, but there's a new program coming out by Celebrity. I'll tease it just a little bit, but when we talk about the cruise news, you're going to like, you might like this program. We'll have to discuss whether or not you'll like this program.
Well, and listen, I was just, before you even get into any of that, I was just thinking, like our whole mentality of cruising is going to change now by living in Florida.
I would agree.
You know, we always like to get off the ship as soon as we can.
Yes.
Because we always have that long drive in front of us.
Yeah.
So now living in Florida, you know, we're only going to have a 2 or 3 hour drive.
Anywhere.
Yeah, so in
yeah.
my head, I'm like, keep me on that ship as long as you want.
You're going to like this new thing the Celebrity's got going on then. And when we first started, we were big fans of packing cubes, but I'll be honest, we don't really use packing cubes much anymore. Tell me, why did we fall out of love with packing cubes?
Well, I still use the packing cubes like for our CVS and like my makeup, sometimes underwear, those sort of things. I think because our clothes are bigger,
Maybe.
they weren't helpful for us.
I think somewhere along the way, I became disenfranchised with packing cubes because I just don't think they save that much space. I mean, basically, we were rolling up our clothes. Our clothes are bigger. Basically, I was rolling up clothes, and then I was tucking them in a packing cube, and then I was trying to play Tetris with the suitcase just to make sure all the packing cubes. And it felt like an extra step that wasn't helpful to me. Now, I do like the organizational factor of them. One thing that we did pretty consistently, and maybe if we start sharing a suitcase again, like right now, most of the time we're in different bags. So like we both have larger carry-ons that we separate our clothes into.
Right.
But in the early days, we were in one big suitcase with both of our clothes. So the cool thing about the packing cubes in that scenario was that we could color coordinate our own clothes.
Right. It was very helpful.
Yeah, I had like red packing cubes or blue packing cubes, whatever. But we would use the different color packing cubes to indicate, which person's clothes it was. And then you're such a freak about unpacking on the cruise ship. The cool thing about the packing cubes, you could just throw them in the drawer if somebody would allow just the packing cubes to be unpacked.
But I think 1 or 2 cruises we did do that.
It makes it easier to unpack.
It was really actually okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I think from the packing cubes, we also went to that rolling bag that actually we put the hangers in there. What is that called?
It's a like a fold over garment bag.
Yeah.
I don't know what the official name is.
So I mean, like you just have to play with what is gonna, work for you.
You know what packing for all these cruises has made me dislike on the cruise?
Laundry.
Formal night.
Yeah.
I'm not into it. Like on some of our early cruises, like I would take a suit and I would enjoy it. But man, like if you want to wear a suit, you got to carry like a garment bag, like that fold over garment bag. And then you got to hope that your stuff stays kind of pressed and nice. And I don't like it anymore. Like I just don't want to deal with it. I do like getting dressed up. It's fun to get dressed up, but
Right.
I find it to be a hassle when it comes to packing.
Well, and I think we went through that together, right? Because now, I don't bring the, ball, not that it's a ball gown, but
It's a more formal dress up.
yeah, it was a formal dress, but I don't mind now just throwing on like a sundress or a
Right.
cotton dress with a jacket over it.
That's the one thing that I'm enjoying. It seems like most of these cruise lines are starting to change and relax their formal night requirements.
Right.
And as long as you got on some sort of for a dude, as long as you got on some sort of slacks and a collared shirt, you're good to go. The only thing I struggle with now is like shoes.
Right.
Like do I bring a whole extra kind of nicer pair of shoes just to go out to dinner, or do I wear tennis shoes with my khakis? I think it looks ridiculous, but
I think it looks so cute.
it looks weird to me. But yeah, so I mean, I'll wear tennis shoes with khakis just so I don't have to carry an extra pair of shoes.
What we need to do is get you a good pair of Keens that I like.
I don't know what these Keens are.
Oh, they're so awesome. You would love them.
They look like they
would be so good for your ginger
woven
feet.
together in a
I
cave
love them.
somewhere. I don't
Who
know.
else uses those Keens? I love them.
Keens. You do love the Keens.
I do.
Not sponsored, but Keen, if you're listening out there, we've got quite the endorsement for you.
And the ones that I love are the Keen Unique.
Keen Unique.
Yeah.
So do you still get stressed out about packing for a cruise?
For a cruise, no, not anymore. I think that we can do it overnight.
I know.
Like the night before.
I feel bad because sometimes I hold you back. Like a week out, you're like, oh, we should start packing for the cruise. And I'm like, okay, go ahead if you want, then you don't. And then a couple of days, you're like, oh, we should start packing. And I'm like, look, honestly, we can just pack in one day. I don't like having my stuff packed up. I don't know why, because then I just end up with wondering where my clothes are. And
Right. And then,
yeah.
What happens too, right, is let's be honest. If I pack a week before, I'm going through that
Right.
at least 2 or 3 times before we actually leave.
Packing and
to make
repacking.
sure make sure I have it in there. And you know what? I kind of like just throwing it in the suitcases the day before because they don't get as wrinkled.
Yeah, I agree. And, most of the time and it might be different if we had to fly and we had to make sure that everything
Right.
weighed the right amount. Maybe we'd do that earlier so that we
Absolutely.
could weigh out our bags and stuff like that. But for us, it's just, can it fit in the car? And we go from there. I'm really looking forward to just being down in Florida, and hopefully just one carry-on bag would be pretty amazing. We've
one for you, one for me.
Yeah, one for you, one for me. We've never actually washed clothes on a cruise, have we? Have you ever done laundry on a cruise? That's so tempting too. Like on a 7-day cruise, just take about 4 days worth of clothes and wash. I mean, but who wants to do laundry? I know people like to do it. I've heard people say, "Oh, I like to clean my clothes before I go home," and I'm like, dude, I don't want to wash clothes on a cruise.
No, and what's funny is that we were on the Sunrise. We were across the hall from the laundry room.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I remember seeing it a couple
And
times.
it was amazing to me, all the people that actually do laundry on a cruise.
Yeah, and like if we knew people on that cruise that were on a back-to-back cruise, so I could see that like you might just have to do laundry, but I don't know. I'm just not into it. Like I don't want to do anything on the cruise but relax. But maybe that's the lazy part of me. But I don't know. I guess I could if I had to. But
And that brings up another thing, right? Like,
would you
how much would you pay for them to do your laundry?
Right. That is a good question. What would you rather do? Pack less and do laundry, or pack more and not do laundry? If that was your forced question to answer.
I mean, I would pack more so I didn't have to do laundry.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I would rather pack less and do laundry, but what would happen is I would pack less and just wear dirty clothes. Yeah, I don't know. I would pay if, let's say it was a 7-day cruise,
Right.
and I could put a load of clothes together on like day 4 and get enough clothes washed that would get me to the end of the cruise where they would do it. I would probably pay $25 or $30 for that.
Yeah, I think that's reasonable.
I don't know per person. Like I think as a couple, I would pay $25 or $30. I don't think I would want to shell out $60 to get another set of clothes clean.
No, what's very cool is that a lot of these loyalty programs with the cruise lines actually, that's one of your perks. And even in some of the different cabins, that's one of the perks of staying in that sort of cabin.
Yeah. So I think it's a good discussion. I don't know that we're typical in the way that we pack, but maybe we can leave some folks with some tips on how to pack light or why you should pack light, and maybe just, I don't know if we have any evolved packing tips. I think I would have to think about it. I don't have anything written down, but let me offer a few reasons why you would want to pack light.
Okay.
One of the reasons you want to pack light is it's easier to disembark from the cruise ship if you don't have much luggage, right? Most of the cruise lines allow you to self-assist on disembarkation day, which means you can carry your own luggage. If you have a minimal amount of luggage, that makes that process easier. And they let the people that are self-assisting with their luggage, they usually can get off the cruise ship prior to people that are checking their bags, that are giving their bags to porters at the end of the cruise or the cruise line workers and having them, waiting for them after the disembarkation process. So if you're somebody that wants to get off the cruise ship earlier, I would definitely try to pack lighter.
Right. And that's definitely a good point, right? Like if you have an early air flight, that's a great way to get off the ship a little earlier.
I think that's a key tip too. A lot of people stress out. I have an early flight. I don't know if they're going to let me off the cruise ship early. I haven't run into a scenario where I've needed to get off the cruise ship where I've even been questioned about it, right? Like if you go to the disembarkation meeting, they'll say, if you have an early flight or if you have some reason that you need to get off the cruise ship for some reason, check with this person. They'll tell you where to go, or they'll just straight up tell you where to go. And so we've had to get off the cruise ship early. We just went to the spot that they mentioned, and nobody said, oh, why do you have to get off early? Like, that could be some sort of stress. Like, are they going to question me why I need to get off the cruise ship? Never experienced that so far.
No, we haven't experienced that.
The other reason I like to pack light is because it's easier to unpack and repack. I know it's kind of funny, but
it is.
It really is. Like, I don't feel like our cruise starts until we've got our room unpacked.
I agree.
Got to go through muster drill, and when you're waiting on a bag, like because you've brought extra luggage, then that extends that period of anxiety of, oh, I got to get unpacked. Nothing really fun happens until I get unpacked. The cool thing is if you can bring all yours in like one carry-on, it's so much easier to unpack. And then on the last night, when you still want to do some fun stuff, it's easier to repack.
Right. Like on our last cruise, it was a 5-day cruise. We were able to do it in one bag, right? Like we both had carry-ons.
That might have been the first time we've never checked luggage. There's like two sizes of carry-ons. There's a small carry-on and there's a medium carry-on. And I thought the medium might be too big just to roll on the cruise ship, but we looked it up and the dimensions worked well. I can't remember what the dimensions were. The only real requirement when you're going on the cruise ship, your carry-on bag can't be larger than a certain amount. You need to look on your cruise line to figure out what that is.
Right.
But it really has to do with the opening on like the thing that they scan the bag on.
Mm-hmm.
And so these medium carry-ons worked well, and sure enough, we got them, and it was weird. I saw like luggage being delivered to cabins, and I was like, oh, I wonder where our bag was. And then I realized we didn't have a bag, so it was super easy to unpack, and then it was real easy to repack and get out of there. So
I really liked it. I thought that, and I know this sounds odd, but it was almost like that we were in control.
Yeah,
like we had everything we needed in our hands, and we weren't relying on anybody to make sure that our bag was coming to our room.
Absolutely. And it was really nice because then you didn't have to worry about whether you lost stuff or you weren't going to have stuff.
Right.
But you have to do some things if you're going to pack in a single bag. I think the biggest tip that I would give is that anything that you can buy a miniature size thing of, do that. So if you can get a smaller tube of toothpaste, or if you can get a smaller, hairspray or a smaller cologne, anything like that, you got to start. If you have to get into this mindset of that, you have to take the least amount of stuff possible. And there are some essential things. And so once you have all your essential things laid out to pack into a single bag, you have to ask yourself, is there a smaller version than this essential thing? And so, for me, like, they make, small shaving creams, and they make, small toothpaste and small deodorant and small cologne. And so all of those things where, it would be just as easy to pack the big version of it. Eventually packing the big version of everything is going to take up too much bag space to do a single bag.
I agree. Yeah.
So what else can people do to pack like Jenny? So again, the other thing that you can do is figure out which clothes that you can rewear. You don't want to wear stinky, smelly clothes, obviously, but can you wear the same pair of shorts twice on a cruise, or can you wear long pants, the same pants? If you're just wearing them at dinner or something.
And also like the throw over jackets. Like I try to get a black one, so that I can wear it with different outfits.
Right.
Instead of having like a pink one for this outfit and a white one for this one. Now, sometimes I do that. It just kind of depends on what mood I'm in and how long the cruise is, actually.
Nice.
Yeah.
What I've started to do is I'll make out a list. Like I'll say, okay, it's a 5-day cruise. I need 5 T-shirts plus 2 or something like that. In the past, in the beginning, I would just bring all my favorite T-shirts. That might be 10 T-shirts. That might be 12 T-shirts, something like that. And then all of a sudden I got 5 extra T-shirts taking up bag space. Now I kind of count it out. Okay, I'm going on a 7-day cruise. I need a couple extra T-shirts in case something happens. So now I've got my, 7 favorites and then 2 alternatives opposed, so I got 9 instead of 15. And that saved me, 5 slots in the bag.
Right. Plus, I got a little tired of overpacking. And then when we would get home, we would just rewash everything, instead of just the dirty clothes. Because sometimes those clothes do smell kind of like the ocean, even though they're clean.
Yeah, when you put all those clothes together, you got to manage the dirty clothes. That's the other thing if you're carrying a single bag.
I love our dollar store pop-up hamper.
It's easy during the week to put it somewhere. Like we put it in the hamper, but on that trip home, especially if you got a 10 or 12-hour car ride, your dirty clothes are going to be in the same bag as your clean clothes. And so, you almost got to rewash all the clothes. And I'm with you. It's super frustrating to be like, oh, I'm washing this shirt. I don't even think I wore it. What the heck? Why are we triple washing the same clothes?
Mm-hmm.
And then the other thing is we do have some clothes that are kind of designated just for cruising. And so we kind of keep those off to the side. We got some...
What, like our cruise day shirts?
The cruise day shirts, those kind of things. And so it's... there's some techniques that you could do. But I think if, I really do believe that you have to take as much stuff as you can at least once to start to understand what you don't need.
Right.
But then go smaller and smaller because it's, at least to me, it's a lot easier to cruise when you're not having to manage a bunch of... You think anything else to help the people out there pack, Jenny? Any other thoughts?
I think for women, I found it much easier to take a palette of makeup, the ones that include your eyeshadow, your contouring or your blush, that kind of stuff. That alleviated me from having to take 2 or 3 bags.
That's good. That's something I never would have thought of. And what it made me think of is there's just not a lot of room to put makeup on there. So if somehow you can consolidate your makeup, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, I guess the next kind of packing we are going to do is going to be packing for our move.
What?
And then once we get that done, we can pack for our next
Florida,
cruise.
watch out.
It's so exciting. So exciting. Well, I'll tell you what else is exciting. Oh,
What's that?
Here, check this out. This is going to be fun. You ready for some fun?
I am.
New cruise ships.
I like that.
Was that fun? Wait. Here, come back. So let's talk about new cruise ships. Yes, that's right. Production right on the fly. New cruise ships in 2020. Look, there's a lot of sources out there that have lists of new cruise ships. I went over to one of the largest forums on the internet talking about cruising. It's Cruise Critic, Jenny. Have you ever heard of it? Who hasn't?
Exactly.
Who hasn't heard? But they do a nice job. They have a nice list of new cruise ships that have been that are coming out in 2020. So I'm going to give you some information on some new cruise ships. I want you to tell me whether these ships sound exciting to you or you could care less.
Okay.
So the first one that they have coming out is in March of 2020. It weighs in at 110 gross tons. And it holds 2,860 people. It's the first of 3 identical cruise ships that will be coming to the water soon near you. It is the adults-only Virgin Voyages Scarlet Lady.
That's very interesting.
What interests you about the Scarlet Lady? Like, I know you know some stuff about this cruise ship. What, off the top of your head, when you hear Scarlet Lady coming out in March, what sounds exciting to you?
I just like the fact that it's not the same as everything else.
Yes.
I like the fact that here we go. We're gonna ruffle up some feathers. It's like the kid that is just screaming for attention.
Yeah.
And I want to give it some attention.
That's a pretty good analogy. When I do think of Sir Richard Branson, the brain and the action behind Virgin, all things Virgin, he does seem like somebody who likes attention, and it's probably served him well. So I'm looking forward. Like if you look at all the other industries that Virgin's gone into, it's been a disruptive activity, and I'm interested to see how they disrupt the cruise space. Look, one of the things that annoy me the most is the current way that cruise tipping works.
Right.
And they're doing away with it on Virgin Voyages. So I'm interested to see how people respond to that, how they like the experience. So that's pretty exciting. We're not booked on that cruise.
We are not yet.
But maybe. We got some friends going on Virgin Voyage.
We do.
If they dig it, maybe when we live in Florida, we can jump
They
on.
want us to go with them.
Yeah, so they're doing Caribbean cruises out of Miami. So we're not that far from Miami.
Yeah, it was pretty sad with Virgin Voyages when Cuba closed down because that's what they were set up to do.
That was going to be a big deal for
Yeah,
them.
it was.
All right. So April 2020, we've got another brand new cruise ship, Jenny, weighing in at 117,000 gross tons, 2,900 berths, a nice medium-sized cruise ship. It's the sister ship to the Celebrity Edge. It is the Celebrity Apex. Now, we got our taste with Celebrity for the first time this year going on the Celebrity Equinox.
We did.
Are you interested in going on another Celebrity ship, and do these Edge ships move you at all?
Absolutely, on both. I mean, I cannot wait to get back on another Celebrity ship. And the Edge, I mean, that's something that, that veranda is just, I would love to see that.
Yeah, so the one feature on these Celebrity Edge ships that really has excited, so they have some cool stuff, right? They've got the magic carpet, that deck that goes up and down the side of the ship. That looks kind of cool.
Right.
But really what they're doing with this balcony where they, part of the time it can be an enclosed thing, and then part of the time it's an open thing. I think that would be really cool.
Yeah, it's like having a sunroom.
It's like having a sunroom. I think at some point we'll get on one of these Celebrity Edge ships. But they're still kind of brand spanking new, which means it can be a little bit pricey.
Right.
Maybe in the next couple of years we can.
What do you think? Like, would you go back on a Celebrity?
I enjoyed Celebrity. It was to me, it was like a very sophisticated level of cruising. It was modern. And so it had a modern flair. I enjoyed the entertainment on Celebrity, and it had a really nice chill vibe. I really enjoyed what they do around the coffee bar and what the music that they have in the atrium, those kind of things. And so super relaxed, super chill. To me, it wasn't like a super big party atmosphere. I could see just going and chilling out on there and going someplace cool. I would definitely get back on a Celebrity ship. And the food was great. I mean, we had, we were in the we had the Blue restaurant as our main dining room, and I was super impressed with the food.
And La Petite Chef.
La Petite Chef was very cool.
Yes.
Now, here's one I would be surprised. I don't even know where this is sailing out of, but this is going to be one of the first entirely fueled by LNG, the liquefied natural gas. It's going to be a first LNG ship from P&O. So this is P&O Cruises Iona. And this is going to be going out of the UK. This one is 180,000 gross tons. And it's a loose release date, spring of 2020. And it's going to house about 5,200 people. That's a big cruise ship.
I think if we ever get over, to Europe, we should try P&O.
P&O is definitely one of the standout cruise lines in the European market. This ship's going to have a lot of stuff. A giant glass dome, for observation, a massive atrium, 17 eateries, 7 specialty restaurants, 12 bars, 13 entertainment venues, 4 pools.
Wow.
And 16 whirlpools.
With all those people on there, 4 pools is good.
Yeah, I think about that. Probably the largest ship that we've ever been on, right? Oasis of the Seas.
Right.
And I think they had 4 pools. I mean,
they did.
Yeah, and that ship didn't seem crowded to me. So I was impressed with close to 6,000 people. But I'm assuming that this P&O ship's going to be the same. I'm interested to see how this LNG does. I mean, the cruise line sometimes catches grief for not being the most efficient when it comes to burning fossil fuels and pollution and those kind of things.
Right.
LNG really could be a game changer. It'll be interesting to see if, as ships move over to this liquefied natural gas, if they'll be able to escape some of this criticism about not being environmentally friendly, which I think it would be great. I think that's what the cruise industry needs, to really show people that they care about the environment. And I think it'll bring more passengers to it, especially ones that are environmentally conscious.
Absolutely.
All right. Summer 2020, a second new build from Saga Cruises. This is the Spirit of Adventure, a smaller ship, tonnage 55,900 and only 1,000 people. This sounds like some high-end cruises here, Jenny.
It does.
I don't know much about Saga. Have you dealt much with Saga in the travel side of the world?
I have not. It's come up here and there. I mean, I don't know about the smaller ships.
It's going to be interesting. So the description,
Like for us, I don't know how we would like that.
540 cabins, and 100 of them are going to be specially designed for solo travelers.
Wow.
That's a lot of cabins.
That's impressive.
Capacity of around 1,000. There's not a ton of information on it at this time, but I feel like a ship that small is going to be one that's going to be kind of high end. That'll be kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Let's look at some of the other big ones coming out. In June 2020, The Enchanted Princess.
Yes, I've heard a lot about this one.
3,560 berths. That's going to be a decent-sized cruise ship.
Absolutely.
Can't wait.
Princess lovers are very excited about this.
Yeah, what I find is people that are into Princess are really into Princess. I had a good time on the one Princess cruise that we went on. I would definitely like to get back on
Well,
another.
and I tell you, though, like the specs of the Enchanted Princess, it looks amazing. Like, I'm ready to get on there.
We'll have to do it.
Yeah.
Enchanted Princess. This is another European one. So that's the interesting thing. We've not committed to going to Europe yet, but it would be cool to go to Europe and go on a new cruise ship, right?
I agree, yeah.
This is the other thing. So the news broke last week that the Carnival Mardi Gras is delayed. That's another new cruise ship coming out in 2020, delayed for its first 8 sailings. And so now when I'm looking at these lists of new cruise ships, I'm a little afraid. Like, do I want to book a new cruise ship or do I want to wait until they've gotten out? And like the idea of being the first one on is super exciting, right? I want to go out and I want to see it and I want to show it to other people, but should I just wait a little bit?
Well, I think we would have to do some more research, right? Because the Mardi Gras is coming out a little bit later because of the other lines that are within Carnival Corporation that they utilized, the same shipyard.
Right.
So those were promised to them beforehand. So that's kind of what happened with the Mardi Gras a little bit. So we would do some research maybe before to see
if
what
that
other
ship was
cruise
gonna
lines
make
are
it
coming out of that shipyard.
That makes sense. I'm even thinking about, like, is the first sailing going to be, like, have they worked out the kinks? Is everything going to work?
Oh, of course. It's a lot.
They do have sea trials. They do run through all
They
of that
do.
stuff.
There's a lot that goes on to make it safe.
Well, it's pretty interesting. So originally the Mardi Gras was supposed to release in August of 2020, but here on the Cruise Critic list, they've done their updating. They have it as a November 2020 release, and I believe it's going to be
November 14th.
November the 14th. It's going to be down there in Florida, and that's going to be Carnival's largest cruise ship. It's going to be the first Carnival XL of the XL class. And actually,
and how exciting that it's going to be from Port Canaveral.
It's going to be pretty exciting.
Like the inaugural.
That's not that far at all.
No.
And that's from where we're going to live in Florida.
That's right.
Like 5 hours.
That's what I'm saying.
Isn't it 5 hours?
Yeah. No. It's like 3.5, 4 hours to Port Canaveral.
Oh, I thought it was closer than that.
Yeah.
5,200 berths. That's going to be the largest for Carnival. And then I tell you what.
I'm excited about the Mardi Gras. I just have to say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I loved the Oasis so much.
Right.
That it's going to be nice that fun and, choose fun Carnival ship is going to be somewhat like that.
I think so too. And I've thought about the Oasis a lot since we were on her. And I guess it's been over a year since we were on the Oasis.
I know.
And I do think that the neighborhood theme really added to it. The fact that they had these 9 different distinct areas on the ships that they called neighborhoods. I really do think that added something special. And so now we see Carnival doing zones on the Mardi Gras. And so it'll be neat to go from the New Orleans zone, or I can't remember what the New Orleans zone is called, but going from there to like the Italian zone or going to the sports zone or something like. It's going to be neat to see how they work those transitions and whether having those different zones make I think it will. I think it's going to be really interesting.
Yeah, and that's what I loved about the Oasis, right? Is that, all entertainment, you didn't have to... Once you knew where the entertainment section was, you didn't have to walk to the front of the ship and say, oh, it's in the aft and, that kind of stuff. So I think it was, even though that's such a big ship, that really helped the getting around.
I didn't even think of it. I think that's probably a great point. I forgot that entertainment zone was a zone. And now that I'm thinking about it, you just went to one place every night for your shows. There wasn't some shows in the back of the ship and some shows in the front of the ship, and it was really easy to navigate. And even though the ship was that big, it worked out really well.
Yeah.
Now, have you ever eaten something and you didn't know that you would like it when you ate it, but then you ate it and then later you got hungry for it again, even though you didn't know you liked it?
Like, what are you talking about?
Sushi is a good example for me.
Yes.
So
Yes.
like I ate sushi for the first time. I didn't think I would like it. I don't know that I liked it the first time I ate it, but then like a couple days later, I really liked it. Have you ever had that with any food?
Yeah, but I can't really think of something like off the tip of, you know.
I've kind of got that with a cruise line. You know what cruise line I might be thinking about? MSC.
Oh,
I didn't know
yes.
that I was going to like it. I went and I tried it. And even while I was there trying it, I wasn't sure how much I liked it. But now that I'm some distance away from trying it, I'm kind of missing it. I'm really ready to try out MSC. And they've got another cruise ship coming out next year, the MSC Virtuosa, coming out in September of 2020. It's 4,900 rooms, and it can carry, it will be able to carry at max capacity about 6,300 people.
Wow.
It's going to be a huge ship, 177,000 gross tons. And they're going to have a Cirque du Soleil show.
Wow.
I'm trying to see where this thing's going to cruise out of.
I was just thinking that. I'm like, where is that cruising from?
I don't see where it's going to be home ported at. We went on MSC in February this year, and we went on a ship that was a little controversial, the MSC Seaside.
Right.
A lot of people said it was no good. I really liked it.
You know what? I really liked it also. And I think I don't know why, right? Like maybe because I liked the European flair. I enjoyed their food in the buffet. You know, like if they didn't have a lot, I thought they had a lot of choices.
Yeah.
And the choices of what they had, it was so good.
The food was really good.
I mean, like homemade pasta on your buffet.
I enjoyed the food, and the entertainment was really, really spectacular. And, you know, it was a cool ship. I mean, the environments are really neat. I really enjoyed the atrium they had with the multi-level digital multimedia display where people could perform. They packed a whole lot of entertainment in a small space on that atrium. I really like that cruise ship.
Right. And do you remember the coffee shop in the back? That was like a whole little area.
Yeah.
And what I liked also is that they had a lot of sitting areas, you know, like for people to just sit and talk and, you know, converse. There was only one negative that I can think about the MSC, and that was in the casino. Only thing.
Yeah, you didn't like the casino in MSC, right?
No, I thought the casino was fine, but they didn't have a craps table for you.
Yeah, the casino is not my favorite casino environment, but
Right.
I get in moods, you know, like sometimes I don't gamble, and so it wasn't horrible, but yeah, maybe if they put a craps table on one of these MSC ships, I still liked it though.
I did too, and you know why?
Why?
Because they do what they want. They do it how they want.
They do what they
They're
want.
privately owned. They don't have stockholders to answer to, and they do it how they want.
Yeah, I would definitely give MSC another shot.
Yeah.
Definitely. And then the last one of substance to mention is coming out in October 2020. It's the Odyssey of the Seas. It's going to be the second ship in the Royal Caribbean's Quantum Ultra class. This sounds like a pretty amazing cruise ship. I mean, they're going to be doing virtual balconies for people that have inside cabins. They'll have the skydiving. They're going to have the 270 theater, which is a very interactive multimedia theater. Just sounds like another nice cruise ship from Royal Caribbean.
Yeah, and I tell you what I like about Royal Caribbean. You know, they are NCL as well. NCL has a lot of solo studios.
Yeah.
And Royal has a lot of studios as well, like for the solo cruiser. And I like that, right? You know, I think it's, you know, yes, they're getting a little bit of a smaller area, but like they're not paying what everybody else is paying.
Yeah, I tell you what, I was super happy with the solo cabin that I had on the Spectrum of the Seas.
Right, it was beautiful.
It was such a nice option for a solo cruiser. The price was right. It had a wonderful balcony. I like that cruise lines are starting to make accommodations for solo cruisers because they recognize that there's more and more solo cruising going on.
Absolutely. And you know what? I would try Royal. Where is that one going to be cruising out of, Tony?
I don't see where that's at. Again, we'll have to see where they're going to home port at. Probably closer to the time that it comes out, we'll have a better idea.
Yeah, I really enjoyed Royal as well.
So those are the new ships for 2020. Lots of options.
Those are so exciting.
We're not on any of them, Jenny. What the heck?
I know. I'm still excited, though, for everybody else.
No, I'm not. I want to go on one of these new cruise ships. We got some good ones lined up for next year.
We do. What do we have so far?
Next year, so it's the Norwegian Breakaway.
Yes.
The Norwegian Breakaway. We're going on Royal Caribbean's Majesties of the Seas.
Yes, the oldest, smallest in the fleet.
That's not a new cruise ship.
But that's a group cruise, and that's going to be lots of fun.
Yes. We're still somewhat planning on going on our friend Don Terrace's of Don's Family Vacations YouTube fame. We're planning on going on his Alaska cruise. And
right.
That's on a Princess ship. I don't even know what ship it is. Pacific Princess?
I know it's June
Crown
13th. Let's see.
Frozen Princess Part 2.
Stop it. Let me get into my phone and I'll let you know.
Look it up, Jenny.
I'm doing it. It is the Royal Princess.
That's what I said. The Royal Princess.
You did not.
I'm pretty sure.
I mean, we have to go on that.
We have to go on
because
that.
I am the Royal Princess.
You are the Royal Princess.
Not the Royal PIA. The Royal Princess.
We're employing an interesting technique on this one. We feel like, I don't think this ship is close to selling out, and we feel like that we feel like there might be some discounted. That we're waiting until around the final payment date to jump on this cruise. It could bite us in the butt. We're running a little bit of a risk here.
We are.
But that is on March the 15th. That's going to be on the day after we get on the NCL breakaway. So we might be on the breakaway trying to figure out how to book Don's cruise. That should be pretty interesting. And then in October this year, we're going on the Carnival Breeze. We have a group cruise that we're collaborating with other YouTube creators, the Sharing at Sea folks.
Right.
And that's it, right? I mean, just
is that all we have in the books?
That's all. Well, I mean, we're moving and we got some other stuff going on. So the cool thing about being down in Florida, it's going to be easy to pull the trigger and get on a cruise ship. But yeah, that's all we got now.
I mean, we may do an overnighter on the Bahama Paradise. Who knows?
You might.
I might.
NCL, Royal Caribbean, Carnival, and what's the other one? Princess. So four cruises, 4 different cruise lines this year. So that should be pretty interesting.
So really on the books, we only have 3.
Yes, 3 confirmed.
Wow, that's a little scary.
It's a little light.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, those are the new cruise ships. I'm pretty excited. Are you excited?
I am. We're going to have to try at least one of them, maybe.
Maybe.
Someone send us an
Okay,
invite.
out of those, which one would... I was getting ready to get off of this segment, but out of the ones that we mentioned, which one would you like to go on?
Probably the Celebrity Apex.
The Celebrity Apex.
Yeah, that's the one that screams to me. Well, actually, Virgin.
The Virgin.
Yeah.
I think...
Those 2 are my top 2.
Virgin might be pretty doable, actually.
Yeah.
So if I had to pick 2, I would try to go on the Scarlet Lady this year. Maybe not on the first sailing, maybe after a sailing or 2. And then I wouldn't mind going on the big MSC ship, the Virtuosa.
Yeah, so listen, those are 3 good choices.
3 good choices.
So so that would be 3 different ones.
Yes.
We'll book them.
Book 'em, Dano. That's an old TV show. All right, so before we get into... We'll talk a couple news stories, not too intense, but before we get into that, I want to do a little news segment. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
It's called Would You Rather? That sounds pretty cool. I don't know. It sounds like a monster truck thing. All right, so Jenny, we floated this question over at the Lido Loca cruising community on Facebook. We would invite you guys to come out and hang out with us on Facebook and our family, our cruising family, the Lido Loca cruising community, the locafam. That's on Facebook. All you got to do is search for Lido Loca cruising community, and we'll let you in. But I did put a would you rather question over there today. Would you rather fall down on your face in front of a crowd on the Lido deck, or accidentally trip a server in the main dining room who was carrying a tray of glasses?
I think that I would rather... So would it be by accident that I
It's an
tripped
accident.
it? Okay. I think I would rather take the pain. I can't see someone falling, and they work so hard, right?
This is an answer that
And
a lot
the
of
glasses falling, and although broken glass sometimes is good luck if it's not in a mirror.
That's interesting. So that's been the answer. So I don't know where that question came from. I was just sitting there and that question came to mind. And so the thing that you should say, the thing that you should say, I believe, is the thing that you said. A lot of people said it in the Facebook community. It's better to take the injury yourself,
right,
than to possibly cause a stranger injury,
right,
and whatever embarrassment that you feel by falling. And other people did say, well, they work hard. I've searched my soul today. I've really struggled with this question.
Really?
If I'm being honest, I do believe that. I do believe that I don't want to see anybody else take pain, but I'm at a point in my life where I don't want to fall down for any reason.
Well, I was just thinking that as I said that, I'm like, well, what if the waiter was in really good shape, like him or her? You know, like if they fell, they would jump right back up, no big deal. But, you know,
I should have qualified it. Like if I would have said, if you knew the person wasn't going to get hurt.
I may break a bone. I may break a hip.
When I was thinking about the question, what I really should have written was, they fall and break glass. They don't hurt themselves. It's just embarrassing. So I was trying to come up with two embarrassing scenarios. Falling down in front of people is embarrassing, and then, you know, a waiter falling down would be embarrassing.
Right.
But yeah, I think if I was completely selfish, if I had to choose, and it's an accident, it's not on purpose. The trip is an accident. I think I would accidentally trip the waiter opposed to falling down myself, because I don't want to fall down anymore. I'm afraid to fall down at my age.
You should ask your sister-in-laws about ground round and the waitress falling.
Ground round. This is a Jenny story.
This is probably a Chrissy story.
Your sister Chrissy, did she trip somebody at a restaurant?
Nobody knows if it was, on purpose or not.
I'll have to commit that to memory.
Yes.
All right. So folks out there, would you rather, if you've answered on the Facebook group, thank you so much. But if you are just out there listening,
get over to the Facebook group.
What
are you waiting for?
Send us a message on Twitter, jump on the Facebook group. Would you rather fall down yourself or accidentally trip a waiter? It's kind of interesting.
That is kind of interesting.
All right, Jenny. Well, some of the cruise news that we have is a little sad, so I don't think I want to reverb into the cruise news. But I did want to mention a few stories that were significant this week. One of the stories that we covered on the Lido Loca YouTube channel was the story of a couple who got stranded in Freeport, Bahamas.
Right. Super
sad story. The husband of the couple, they're from Myrtle Beach, North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and the husband of the couple suffered a stroke while on a Christmas cruise. And the cruise ship took them to Freeport, and unfortunately the hospital in Freeport could not help them to the extent that the person needed. But it got complicated because they didn't have any money and they didn't have travel insurance. And I heard later they didn't even have passports. And so even though they needed to go to another hospital, they were delayed there in Freeport because of those things. And fortunately, somebody anonymously helped them get out of Freeport and back to the United States. But the sad news is that gentleman passed away.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah. The news just came in yesterday that he got home and they got him stabilized and he passed away from the complications of a stroke.
My prayers go out to that family. How sad.
The guy was the family. One of the things they committed to do was to donate his organs. And so even out of the tragedy, there's some positive things coming out of it because they were able to donate part of his, some of his organs and his eyes and those kind of things, and so people are benefiting from that tragedy. But yeah, such a sad story, man.
Yeah, and then at the same time, let's be the advocates, right? Get your passport, get that trip insurance, because you just never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, the cost of travel insurance, of cruise insurance, is minimal compared to what it costs if things go wrong. And I'm working on a video that I'm going to share on the YouTube channel about how travel insurance actually works. I know that's a conversation that people are having. Like, I don't know how it works. Do you have to come out of pocket and get reimbursed? There's all kinds of different scenarios, and so I'm going to cover that in a video. But yeah,
let's learn from this, right? We do get trip insurance. We do have our passports. But even if you have the trip insurance and you don't have your passport, you may be delayed of getting out of the country.
Yeah, you just never know. Like, sadly, there were people that, when they heard the story, they were a little harsh on the people that went through the tragedy, but you just don't know what's going to happen.
You don't.
Who knows how many times those people have traveled. And, the interesting thing is, at least in the United States, cruising just seems like any other trip.
Exactly.
And it's not. It's different. It's different than just going to another state and going to the beach, but it's not always presented that way, and you don't always think of it that way. And so there are some other extra considerations that hopefully people are learning, and hopefully as people share these things, they learn. But such a sad story.
It is. My prayers go out to that family for sure.
So let me tell you a piece of news that I read today about Celebrity Cruise Line, and particularly something that's only going to happen at the port in Fort Lauderdale. They are instituting a program where you can stay longer on the cruise ship on disembarkation day.
What? How much longer?
Almost the whole day.
Do you have to pay extra?
Yeah. So here's the deal. There's a separate process for your luggage. So you got to get out of your cabin at 9 o'clock because they have to flip the cruise cabin at 9 a.m.
Okay.
There's a process where they're going to let you walk your luggage to a special place in the terminal and leave it there and then come back onto the cruise ship so that you can enjoy the cruise ship until the muster drill for the next sailing.
Wow.
$79 per person.
I don't know if that's worth it or not.
It's interesting. We like to get off the cruise ship. So I guess just reading the article, this is what it sounds like. You wake up on disembarkation day, your bag's already packed. By 9 o'clock, you have to go to the special place. So you have to leave the cruise ship. I don't know if you have to go, what kind of security you have to go through. And then let's say it took an hour to take your luggage off and get back on. So from 10 o'clock until 4 o'clock, let's say, how many hours is that? 6 hours. So that's 6 hours of cruise ship life for $80 per person. But what are you I was thinking about this. It sounds appealing a little bit.
It does, but you know what? It depends, right?
Yeah.
Because a lot of times on embarkation day, they shut down the restaurants. They shut down the buffets, do the cleaning, this sort of thing.
I would imagine on this, they're going to have some stuff open, but part of me goes, that day is pretty much a madhouse day, right? There's people running around with their luggage, people trying to get to their rooms. I just don't know how much fun it would be. I'm going to say I don't think I'd want to do it.
I don't know, right? Because between, it depends on what time they let the new people on, right? Because there may be an hour that you have that ship very, very minimal people.
Right.
Are they going to do, shows that day? What are they going to do?
I guess it's a developing story, so I guess we'll have to see what comes out. But
I don't mind testing it for them.
Yes, if they want somebody to test it for free.
I'll get back on that Celebrity Equinox, no problem.
Well, let me tell you this, though. I don't know. I took a ship tour of the Sunrise in Virginia.
Right.
And I basically got to stay on there until they told us to get off.
Right.
And that was cool, but we were on the Sunrise just recently, and during the muster drill, they kept yelling for people to get off the cruise ship.
Yeah, that was super frustrating, wasn't it?
It sounded like somebody was on a ship tour and they didn't want to get off. So I think that would annoy me if I was on this celebrity cruise and I was waiting to get through my muster drill and whoever paid the extra $80 didn't want to get off the cruise ship. So to me, that could be a problem.
Right, but maybe it's very minimal, right? And maybe they put on, like maybe you have one of those bracelets that shows where you're at all the time, on the ship and... they know exactly where you are.
Interesting things.
There's no hiding.
Interesting things to talk about.
Right.
Think about.
I don't know. I like I said, I'd be a taste tester for it.
I would try it out. And then just the last piece of news I want to talk about this week is we see Carnival raising the price of the drink package on the 3 and 4 day cruises.
Yeah.
And it's $3 per day. I think it's $54.95 if you buy it in advance per day, or it's $59.95 per day if you buy it when you're on the cruise ship. So you save a little bit of money if you buy it in advance, but that's a $3 increase on both of those prices. So when you think
the 3 to 4 day cruises,
3 to 4 day cruises only, nothing longer than
listen,
that.
If you're going to be drinking, it's $9 and $12.
Right. It's no big deal.
Right.
Right. I mean, it's not, but.
And that's what Carnival knows that.
Well, that's the thing. It's $3 here, and then in another year, it's $3. That's the interesting thing. So, the 3 and 4 day cruises, sometimes those are considered booze cruises where people drink a lot anyways.
Right.
What's interesting, and I don't think I talked to you about this, is that the brand ambassador, John Heald's got a huge Facebook page.
Right.
He put a poll out the other day that asked how many people actually get the drink package, and he had about 30,000 respondents. What percentage would you think, when you think of the drink package, when you think of Carnival, what percentage of 30,000 people do you think actually get the drink package?
I'm going to say 35%.
That's almost right on it. I thought it would have been higher than that. The way I hear people talk about drinking and that kind of thing, I feel like a lot of people would buy the drink package, but I guess a lot of people don't buy the
because
drink
it's
package.
so expensive.
It is expensive, right? Even, on a short sailing, that's going to be expensive. But yeah, I've seen some prices on 7-day cruises where it's like almost the price of the cruise to get the drink package.
Right. And listen, you know what? Sometimes it's worth it for people. Like for us, it's not worth it.
Right.
Like I can drink probably 10. How many specialty coffees would I have to drink? You know?
Yeah.
But I like a fruity cocktail here and there, but it's just much cheaper for me to
Just
not
pay
buy
as
it.
you go. I was surprised. So the outcome of that was 37% people.
Would you have thought it was going to be higher?
I thought it was going to be higher. I really did. So it was 37 to 63%. 63% of the people.
Yeah, I think when it
don't
comes
get
down to it, right? People really lay out what their thought process is because sometimes it could be $800-900.
It's expensive.
And that's another cruise.
It's another cruise.
Yeah.
It's interesting though, like, because, and we don't do this, but I could make $800 my gambling budget.
Absolutely.
And not think anything about it.
Right. No, and that's what I'm saying. Like it's what is good for you.
Right.
Right? Like just because we don't get the drink package, people it's the cruise life. You cruise how you want to cruise.
Yeah.
If I want to blow $800 on drinks or I want to blow $800 in the gambling or gambling in the casino, that's what I'm going to do.
It's kind of funny.
Well, guess what? There's people that blow $800 on the beautiful purses in the atrium,
Yeah. You never know. So that's
How
interesting.
about those watches that are on sale?
There's always watches on sale.
Exactly.
So I don't know. It really sparked this conversation or this thought process in my mind about all-inclusive cruising versus a la carte cruising. So when you have an a la carte thing like a drink package or like Wi-Fi, something like that, if it's not included in your cruise price, that's someplace where they can increase it by $3. And like you said, $3 at a time, it's not that big a deal. It doesn't seem like that.
Right.
But if all of a sudden, if everything was included and you saw your cruise price going up by a significant amount, that's going to be something that you think about. So to me, if it's all inclusive, you're not going to get these little individual price increases. But if it's a la carte, you are. But I don't know. Like I don't think I would like all inclusive cruising because, like you said, it's a cruise life. There's just things I don't do. Like all inclusive cruising usually includes like drinks, and it usually includes some form of excursion. And then all of a sudden, I feel like my cruise life is being forced on me. I like the a la carte, is what I'm saying. Does all inclusive appeal to you at all, or
no? Because like you said, like we don't. I can't see getting free in my fare, right? Like if I can save that money and put it into the casino and donate it that way, that's what I would like to do.
Yeah.
I don't want to be paying for all the alcohol I could drink or the specialty restaurant. I don't want any of that. I want to pick and choose how I want to cruise.
Exactly. All right. Interesting conversation. Well, Jenny, that's going to wrap it up. That is episode 6 of the Lido Loca Cruise Podcast.
The Lido Loca. Oh, you don't have that thing?
Actually, hold on. Wait. Do it.
The Lido Loca Podcast.
Wow. How about that? That's pretty cool. Very nice. Well, thank you guys so much for stopping by. All the information about the podcast will be in the show notes and in the link of the video description.
Hey, it was so much fun talking to you this week.
Always fun talking to you, Jenny.
Yes.
If you guys need any help with your travel, we can help you out with that. Jenny is the best travel agent I know. I'll leave that information below. And thanks everybody for stopping by, and thanks for following along.
Yeah, and I hope that you are at your next cruise port as you leave us now.
About that. Well, this is Tony.
And I'm Jenny.
And we are Lido Loca. And until the next time,
we'll see you on the Lido.
We'll see you on the Lido.
Bye.
Bye.